I've done some bad things in my life. Things I'm not proud of. I promised someone I loved long ago that I would never go back to that person. But for you, I'm going to make an exception. For everything you've done, for everything you said, a storm is coming. Go ahead. Look into my eyes. Look into the eyes of the storm. Tell me what you see. Because I'm coming. And hell's coming with me. Yep. Let's start off talking about the state of Florida, who clearly has lost their mind. I mean, where do I start? Now, I'm not going to call their governor, Ron DeSantis, a racist. Clearly, I don't know him personally. However, Ron's policies are not user-friendly to the darker complected people. They're not really user-friendly to the LBGTQ plus community. Hell, if you want to break it down, they're not really too friendly to Micky freaking Mouse. But I guess technically, Micky Mouse is dark complected, so yeah. Now, a few months ago, Ron DeSantis blocked an AP African American course by stating that they were trying to use Black history to shoehorn in queer theory. Now, this didn't sit right with the African American community, so Benjamin Crump petitioned a lawsuit against the Florida Board of Education. They just laughed at the suit, calling the lawsuit by the civil rights attorney a publicity stunt, and that they expect removal of all content on the critical race theory, Black queer studies, intersectionality, and to other topics that violate their laws, but then turn around and say that schools in Florida are mandated to teach slaves develop skills which, in some instances, can be applied to their personal benefit. What? Are you serious? Are you serious right now? So are you telling me that slave wasn't a bad thing? That it was actually like some type of Job Corp? Nah, bro. I'm a parent, and there's no way anything like that would fly, regardless if I was in Florida or any place else. But believe me or not, this is something that is not really uncommon in the United States, the cover-up, so to speak. For example, I'll just use this. Chrisopher Columbus, he discovered North America, right? No, he didn't, but that's what we were led to believe. But for whatever reason, he is a pivotal point in American history in reference to discovering America. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying what I was taught wasn't true. Of course, this is all through the author's perspective. There were just some facts that were conveniently left out. Here's an AP fact about Chrisopher Columbus. Senior Columbus initiated the transatlantic slave trade in early February 1494, where he sent thousands of Taino Indians to Spain. And, well, the ones that didn't go, the ones that were left behind, well, anybody could have them. Mind you, to do whatever they pleased. Now, this was quoted from Christopher Columbus journals, something else. I mean, it's fact records written down. The way Ron DeSantis says, these are coming from, educated people. So is this, okay? That the people were so full of love and without greed, in which he was saying, oh, they're so trusting and ignorant, we can go ahead and enslave them, in which they did. Also in these journals, him, maybe, but definitely his men would rape the indigenous women over and over and over again to break their will and spirit to get them to do whatever they wanted. But this is not something that was taught in elementary textbooks, and probably shouldn't. It really shouldn't. Christopher Columbus wasn't a good guy. There's all kinds of atrocities and stories that are told about this guy, but yet and still, we celebrate him with a day off. So I don't know. I think there is a special kind of delusion here in the United States. Now, this delusion is the same delusion that have people running around here saying, the Holocaust, it didn't happen. Son, I've been to a concentration camp in Germany, and this is no bullshit. The birds would not fly over this bitch. I'm not playing. So you MAGA motherfuckers who can refute and say whatever you want, that atrocity happened. See, the problem is this. Ron DeSantis and people like him are wanting to rewrite history. Check this out. Now, this is not necessarily rewriting history, but this is from don't even know how to bring this in. Kim Daniels, who's theoretically a black woman, but I'm gonna call her doo-doo brown. She ain't black, she doo-doo brown. She had the audacity to say out her mouth, and I quote, "I thank God for slavery." Then she goes to say, "I thank God for the crack house. If it wasn't for the crack house, God wouldn't be able to use me like he uses me now. And thank God for slavery, because if it wasn't for slavery, I'd probably be somewhere in Africa worshiping a tree." Bro, I can't make this shit up. I swear to God, I can't make this up. Tim Scott and or Herschel Walker, I mean, these two jokers are no better. Now, is it me, or do the Republicans tend to find the dumbest Negroes they can find in America to say, "You are speaking for the black people"? No, they're not. No, they're not. Get out of here. But let's take this a little bit further. Let me step out the box a little bit. Vivek Ramaswamy. Now, this came out a couple weeks ago, but I'm bringing it in because this should all tie in at the end. But Vivek Ramaswamy is a Republican presidential candidate. Now, this guy is talking about raising the voting age to 25. Trust me when I say, I'm going to tear him apart. But right now, I digress on this issue. But I will revisit this and tear him apart. Yeah, I know I sound angry because I am. Then he goes to say that the young need to pass the civics test in order to vote, which is a right as an American citizen if you're 18 and you're a legalized, born in America citizen. But I got a question, sir. Why is that? Only a Mo with a third world mindset would even say some dumb shit like that. See, he never served in the military, but stating to gain the right to vote without taking a civics test? This is what you got to do. You have to perform some civic duties by serving in the military, fire department, or even the local police department for 6 months. Listen here, dum-dum. It takes more than 6 months to learn your freaking job in these fields. In a podcast that he did, I mean, he just, and the other guy's like, yup. In a podcast, he asked, are you going to make a contribution to this country? Do you actually know something about this country? First of all, do you know how many dumb MAGA motherfuckers are out there? Those are Trump's people. He like them dumb. Because the dumber they are, the easier they follow. No, well, the dumber they are, the easier they're swayed, but they follow anyway. But secondly, let me ask you this question. What have you done for this country? Don't make any mention of your business because this has provided you the means and comfort. You ain't giving medication away. You became rich. Now, can someone tell me what country, or I should say what other country on this big blue marble that we call our earth says regardless if you were born in this country, in order to be a citizen, you got to pass a test? I don't know any other country that does any dumb shit like that. This is what you need to do, people. You need to read between the lines. He is touching on the 14th Amendment. That's what he's doing, just like Trump did. He's kind of coming in on the guise of saying 18, but you need to look at it. You cannot vote unless you're a recognized citizen. How do you become a recognized citizen? Right? The 14th Amendment gave that. They're talking about anchor babies. You kind of feel where I'm going? I don't want to feed you this. I just need you to understand. They're going for the 14th Amendment. They're just not saying those words. See, I pay attention. This is why people don't like my podcast. This is why people come at me, because I pay attention. You can't piss on my boots and tell me it's raining. Now, let me go ahead and end this ass clown about this whole voting at 18. A common slogan of the proponents of lowering the voting age was old enough to fight, old enough to vote. Determined to get around the inaction on the issues, congressional allies included a provision for the 18-year-old vote in a 1970 bill that extended the Voting Rights Act. If you were old enough to go to Vietnam and die for your country, then damn it, you should be old enough to fight, live, and vote. So once again, let me ask you, have you ever served in the military? No, you have never served not one part in this country's military. To this date, he has not proven that he has done some form of civic duty. At least I haven't seen it, which seems to me highly hypocritical if you ask me. So it seems Mr. Ramaswamy Ramaswamy, whatever his name is, you need to go back to school and you need to learn something. So I was doing research because that's what I do, because I always want to be one up on anybody who wants to come at me for something that I may say. So check this out. This is from the Hindustan Times. The recent attacks against African students in India have touched off a national debate about a highly sensitive subject. The nation has received a considerable amount of negative media coverage criticizing it as a racially intolerant country. This accusation is supported by the most recent round of reports published by the World's Value Survey, an international reputable polling organization, which found in 2013 that 43.5% of Indians would not want a neighbor of a different race, putting India second worldwide only to Jordan by that measure of racial intolerance. This is how this man can fix his lips to say what he's saying. He is another coconut trying to eliminate the greatest threat in the United States today, the minorities and the disenfranchised. Now, it's not that it's a left versus right thing at this point, or a Republican versus Democrat. Truthfully, they can give two shits about the American people after they are elected to office. As the title of this podcast states, it's never been about us. It's always been about them. When I say us, I mean the United States. U.S. See, it's all about their personal gain. If the Democrats really cared about this country, how are so many laws being passed that affect black and brown people, or people from those quote-unquote shithole countries? The Republicans are trying to rewrite history in Florida. Florida has gotten so bad that the NAACP has sent out a travel warning to Florida. The Republicans have made it very clear. They want to change the 14th Amendment. They may not say it out loud, but that's what they're doing. Between Texas and Florida, they're like making it, I won't say making it impossible. They're making laws that they're making laws in reference to teaching people that make certain people feel uncomfortable, but at the same time have no problem making blacks and Hispanics feel unwelcome, if that makes sense. See, the political process, if we broke it down, and this is going to be pretty deep for some people be like, what the freak? As I end this podcast, I kind of want to make you think. I'm going to be very, very cryptic about what I say because I really don't want to get too deep into it. But if you understand exactly the meaning behind this or do your research, you'll see that, damn, maybe I'm onto something. The political process, breaking it down, and like I said, getting a little deep here. From immorality to fornication to child sacrifice, aka abortion, the political environment for our country has been covered with lies and deceit. We are in the hands of evil men. Red or blue, it doesn't really matter. Satan has his 5 generals in place, and everything that we have been told are nothing more than misdirection and double talk. But of course, one of the greatest misdirection or tricks that the devil has ever pulled off was convincing the world of one thing, that he didn't exist.